Hey, it's me, Puppet DM, and I'm here to tell you all about the sponsors we have here at the Wandering Society. We're sponsored here by Mage Hand Press, makers of a bunch of 5th edition supplements, like the Book of Kobold or their series of new classes. And don't forget, Arcmada, the amazing sci-fi fantasy campaign setting for the world's greatest role-playing game. Be sure to check them out at store.mageandpress.com. Up next, we have Roll20. It's the platform we use here at the Wandering Society to play all of our games. It's easy to use, intuitive, and it now comes with dark mode. Be sure to check them out at roll20.net. We're also sponsored by Art Talsorian Games. Art Talsorian Games make great RPGs, and they've been doing so since the early 90s. Check their books. They've got Cyberpunk Red, which Simon tells me has been played here extensively, Castle Falkenstein, which also has been played here, and The Witcher, which has also been. Okay, we get it! Check them out at your FLGS or online at rtalsoriangames.com. Have you ever wanted to wake up and smell the coffee? Well, now you can with this next sponsor, Found Familiar. Get yourself some damn good coffee at foundfamiliar.com and use the code on the screen to get 15% off. What do you mean I can't drink coffee? What the fuck is felt? And we couldn't end this segment without talking about our good friends at Die Hard Dice. That's right. As a Dice affiliate, we are proud to partner with Die Hard Dice to bring you only the best in shiny click-clacks. Click-clacks? What is... Ow. You can check their ever-growing collection over at dieharddice.com and use the link below to get 15% off. You're putting this all on me? I better get a cut. Hello, everyone. Ooh. Hello. We have an invisible morning for some reason.
Morning is not broken yet.
Uh-oh.
It's not. We can see you, Renee. It's my.
Right.
Yes.
No, I get it. Yeah. It's okay. My cat is acting up, so it's okay if you don't see me
There
getting
we
onto
go.
her.
Hello,
There we
everyone.
are.
Welcome back to Scion, Birth of the New Gods. I'm Simon at Wandering the MIU see him pronouns. I am the fates for this game. But before we delving back, because today, after we took the summer off for work in all of the various projects that we had going on, we're gonna have a rather chill comeback session today. No combat, I can promise you that. And we're just gonna, slowly get back in the swing of things. But before we do that, let's introduce or reintroduce our cast of glorious godlings. I will start with, let's go with the order that I see you on Video Ninja. So we'll start with Lynn. Hi.
Oh, hey everyone. It's good to be back here playing with everyone being our little demigods. And I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art, she, they, and today I am playing Dihiga, daughter of Anari, she, her.
Now up next we have Hawkeye.
Hey everyone, I'm Hawkeye or Kentucky Hawkeye. You'll enjoying my time on here, and you'll have me see me playing the son of Ogma, Finbar Odupda.
And then we have Hannah.
Hey, I am Hannah, Animation Art, and on this game I am playing Kieran Kearney, son of Loki, he, him.
And last but not least, Renee.
Hi, I'm Renee Rhodes. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Morning, daughter of the Morgan, who also uses she, her pronouns.
And we are supposed to have a playlist, but it doesn't seem to be playing. What the heck? There we go. And this is, of course, Scion's. We're playing Scion 2nd Edition. We are now, for those of you in the know, in the demigod tier. Bit past the halfway point of the demigod tier, I should say. And this is a game that plays with a D10 pool system. Once we get back into rolling and all that, at worst, I'll give a bit of explanation. But basically, our godlings started as regular humans, unaware of their divine heritage, and evolved through their actions and through their reactions to what fate threw at them into into the demigods that they are now. Last we left everyone off, they were back from a rather tough fight and got together to plan things out and patch things up with their enemies. But before we see the fallout of all of this, I would like us all to sort of take a quick second to reminisce over what happened over the course of the campaign and use that as sort of a stepping board, if you will, to getting back into the swing of things after what was it, like 2.5 months since. So players, you remember how it all started? Yeah, I'm asking you to remember, to recall events from almost 3 years ago.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
No.
Finbar remembers it very well.
Good.
He remembers coming over to Niantic, the university there in Niantic, on a scholar exchange program and all that, was staying on the university site and all that, doing his guest lectures and on all that sort of stuff, and came back to his office to discover some people trying to search through and ransack his stuff, and then they'd be turned into these strange mythical creatures called wargs, kind of like oversight. It's kind of like a cross between a wolf and a dog on steroids, only worse. Ended up using his umbrella, the handle of his umbrella, as a makeshift shillelagh to fight them off. As then suddenly other forms of help appeared as helped fight them all off, and then started us off on this adventure of discovering that he's not just some poor kid who grew up on not the best side of town and all that, and used his brains to get himself a full ride scholarship, and then ended up going to grad school and becoming a professor and all that. Turns out there was a reason why he was so good at what he did. His father turns out to be none other than Ogma, one of the sage god of the Gaelic pantheon, which means he has inside knowledge on all of the wisdom and lore and things of that, the very things he teaches about.
So
in
what you're
university.
saying, Finbar, is your entire self-made man, pull up by my own bootstrap story is in fact due to your heritage and who your parents were, just like every other bootstrap story out there.
A little bit of both. He had to do the work himself because he didn't know he was blessed by the gods at the time. So as far as he knew, everything he did was based off of his own
Oh yeah, that was
written circumstance.
a jest on my part, because that's true.
No problem.
None of you, well, I shouldn't say none of you. Most of you had no idea that you were related to something supernatural until your parents decided to, or your divine parent, I should say, singular, decided to show up with the truth. The only one among you who knew that they weren't immortal from Earth was Morning. Morning, do you recall where you're from?
Where I'm from? Yes. Thankfully I do. Thankfully that one comes up reasonably often. I'm from the Garden, which is a afterlife, underworld of sorts. Good lord, I'm so sorry if you can hear the crinkling. My cat is very excited to have found some paper to lay down on, and while I'm grateful she's not chewing cords, I don't know how much better this is. Anyway, so I have been there for a very long time. Time passes differently. I often have talked with souls who are passing to their afterlife and discussed with them their mysteries, helped them come to terms with death. But after some time, found that the stories I was hearing about the mortal realm were inconsistent and piqued my curiosity. So I made a trip that hasn't ended yet, and as long as this campaign has gone on, though we have gone back to the Garden to visit. I have seen some of the people that I cared about. But my first experience in the mortal realm was riding a bus.
Yep.
And on which I met my current best friend and crush, Winnie, and learned about cat videos
What
and
a
cell phones.
what a wonderful introduction to human society.
Yeah, the bus and cat videos.
Yeah, Winnie, who is in fact a little more, as you've come to learn over the course of the campaign, that she's a little more than just human, actually a little more than even demigod, as she is the actual mythological figure, Winona, the first woman, and whose tragic story involves basically dying and being reborn all the time. Except there's something that prevents even gods from sort of living those myths that they are basically forced into by fate at this point, where they have very little control over how it ends or when it ends. There's a net, a prison Oh, thank you. Hey, Renegade. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, there's a sort of a net that was cast over Earth, and that prevents the gods from dealing with mortals as they used to. One among you has had maybe a bit more information about the net from their divine parent, who appears to know a bit more than what they let on. Isn't that right, Kieran?
That's, if you just telling me about it, that would be nice. Instead of being constantly, cagey, as it were.
You were recently given something
I was.
by your divine parent. Care to show the class what it is?
Oh, my parent has given me so many wonderful, great things, like a belt buckle and a lighter and a quarter. My dad cares about me so much. But are you talking about the weapon?
I'm
that he
talking more
gave me?
about the weapon. The
The
thing
God
that
Killer.
he found in the glove compartment of his car is not necessarily.
He gave me a gun. No, he gave me a weapon called the God Killer. That is a weapon that I am meant to use on our mortal enemies here, if need be. And I've been saving that.
And as far as we're concerned, there is one use of that god.
Just one use, one shot, one kill.
Yeah.
But it can kill a god. So
Can.
saving that for a boss battle, I suppose.
Well, you have yet to meet any gods per se, right?
I mean, we have met
You-
some gods.
You've met a. Well, no, that's not true. You did meet a god recently, yeah. I mean, Winnie aside, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I doubt you would use the god killer on Winnie.
I mean, morning might have something to say about that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Just a
would
little.
cut you down where
We're,
you
listen,
stand.
we're trying to avoid PvP as much as possible
Mhm.
right now. But
No, you've met Raijin recently, who came to pick up his rebellious brother,
mhm.
who was allied himself with one of your nemesis, a once mortal man simply called Yoshi. Now, do you have? I think he has a last name. Check my notes real quick. Nope. His actual real name is lost to history. But he was part of a cabal of nemesis, of rivals, basically, Scions, that had and still have a plan, but whose plan to basically reinforce the prison around the world, the supernatural net, as it were, sort of crossed path with yours, and in their efforts to achieve whatever it is they wanted to achieve, they sowed a lot of destruction, a lot of death, some of who I should say were maybe like mentor figures or close ally of your case. I think that was someone was one of their victims, unfortunately.
Yes. Certainly.
Who were they?
Funny enough, I had forgotten their name. If I hear it again, I'm gonna be like, of course it is. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
It is.
Sujobo?
Shijobo,
Yeah,
yeah.
Shijobo. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they, as unhelpful as he seemed and has annoying to give help to, Sujobo was a good mentor, and yeah, Yoshi killed him, lit their place of residence on fire.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And those rivals, basically, they all did that too. And this is something that you learned.
Oh, that's right. They
Recently.
also trashed our little cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah, your magical cabin. This is something that I, for one, had half forgotten about for some reason.
Our place of cool stuff.
Well, we don't have access to it anymore. It's, not safe no more. So
Yeah.
No. You had a magical demi-plane, if you will, to use D&D terminology, but a pocket dimension was a cabin by a lake, held and maintained by Choppa.
Yep. Now we have to go through the finding places to live now.
Yep.
house hunting.
Yeah. I don't know if Dee has told the rest of the group that she can generate like $10,000 or like whatever she wants.
I don't think you have, because I feel like that's something I would remember.
I don't think.
Um,
I need to actually check how much it was. It was an absurd amount of money.
and it's 10. Your casual miracle is like 10,000 a day.
Yeah, 10,000.
But it counts as a casual miracle, if I remember.
I don't think
correctly.
it was just one legend.
Oh,
thing.
it's the one legend thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So there will not be an atrocious amount of fallout from this.
No. I feel bad for that. Was it that park like ranger that we threw a big fit about paying the permit to have a camping space?
Mm-hmm. I mean, theoretically, you could also
The exchange rate was so atrocious that day, we just didn't bother.
Also, someone's a millionaire now, so they also don't necessarily have to worry about money.
Yeah, like y'all own a successful business that was originally ran by Ulf Stevenson, your very first enemy.
I mean,
Scion of Fenris.
I mean, taking your identity aside, did you a huge favor by tremendous wealth.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that I can't still haggle over things like a permit to camp.
You are an RPG. You're like, no, just pay that. Like, no.
Absolutely not. It's the principle of the thing.
But what if I need to use my cash later?
Exactly. For the cash dungeon. You never know.
Here's this gold bar. Oops, it's a snake.
I think that's where we're gonna pick back up with all of you. So we're gonna rewind the clock a little and have all of you still around the table at Winnie's apartment, because this is the last place that we visited as a group. I mean, around the table here playing.
Mm-hmm.
So you had dealt with the rivals at the Oak and name of that place.
What was formerly
Tasty
the
Oak.
Oaken.
The Tasty
The
Oak.
Tasty
It
Oak.
was formerly the Tasty Oak.
Tasty Oak.
But that will now become the headquarters of a charity organization, a non-profit
Oh, that's
org
right.
run by Michelle, who's
That's the upper levels. The bottom level will still be the
Yeah.
Tasty Oak.
will be rebuilt, basically.
Yeah.
And we're in the process of, well, she's in the process of doing this.
Mhm.
Michelle, who has become fate-bound to you.
Yep.
As a boon companion. In fact, it's starting to... fate binding is a thing that happens naturally, unfortunately, to a lot of Scions once you reach a certain, let's say, degree of power, of divinity.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where...
Do you think that sucks? Do you think that's unhelpful?
Well, your views are your own, but the thing is for most gods, it always, if you just look at mythology in general,
Mhm.
it always ends tragically for the mortal. Very rarely does it bring anything bad to the gods themselves. But this is something that, unfortunately, the longer you're going to stay in this world, the more it's going to happen. And the more it happens, the more you're going to have to deal with it.
Fun.
And the more you deal with it, the more destructive your very existence becomes. And that's sort of the conundrum that Yoshi, Professor Morgan, and the others were sort of trying to deal with. Their idea was, we reinforce the net.
Mhm.
And
I have a question about Professor Morgan. He's human now, right? He's regular.
he basically went back down to being human. Yeah, he is no longer a chosen.
Oh god, it would be really bad if he got fate bound to our good professor here. be unfortunate.
That would be interesting.
That would,
That would be so interesting.
I mean, you're right there.
Well, I do have him doing research for me now, so who knows what might happen.
But yeah, basically what they wanted to do was make sure to sever the connection between the two worlds. And sort of have humanity, like leave humanity do their own thing, which well, can't really happen because you all know that there are still things, mythic threats hiding in the world, and that leaving humans to deal with it might not be the best of ideas. So after dealing with them in a rather spectacularly epic fashion, with a cool fight against Jin. No, Fujin was the one who went to pick up his brother Raijin. My bad.
Yeah.
Fight against Raijin.
Okay, you're right. Yes.
You gathered together with the rivals, defeated rivals, and sort of came to a tentative ceasefire, tentative truce, I should say. Some of them were like Dusk, more along for the ride because they didn't know any other way. But one of their method, not Dusk, but the rivals, implied kidnapping those who still had a spark of divinity left and basically sacrifice them to reinforce the net. You talked it out. I don't know what your plan is. I don't know which side of this matter you fall. Your plate. But that said, after the truce, y'all went to Winnie's place to talk it out amongst yourselves. And I know that in our last session, we sort of ended a little after that. So what we'll do is we'll just rewind a bit to Winnie's apartment as you're sitting around the table having tea and still discussing, and we're gonna pick back up from there and look at, well, ow, I bumped my knee.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. What's your next step? What's your plan?
So I do at least sort of recall this. Morning is specifically waiting for other people to tell her what the plan is because she's trying to spend as much time with Winnie as possible.
I recall, I think from over the past sessions, that we had found out that there are two signs that we discovered in, I think one was in the US, the other one was in Russia, correct? Or possibility of.
Yeah. One
Um,
in the Chicago area, the Toy Maker, for
Mhm.
lack of a better title for him,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
one that was called Toy
in
Maker.
there was a Russian.
Mhm.
The other one, I believe, was because I have their name here.
Yeah, we had a
I
name
do-
for the one in Chicago. But, like we don't really know anything about the
Yeah,
one in.
the one in Chicago is Baptiste Saint John.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But the one
Baptiste
in
Saint John,
Russia, it was just like a ping that there was someone.
Mhm.
I believe they were in St. Petersburg.
Mhm.
yeah. But we do not know anything else other than that they're out in St. Petersburg, and that's all we know.
Yeah. And that their purview may have something to do with like secrecy or like remaining like under the radar sort of thing. Because it's been
Mhm.
they haven't been like spotted or anything like that. I think.
Yeah, they had without knowing exactly the pantheon or the powers or all that, but
Mhm.
they have this strange ability of being able to basically drop out of the face of
That's
the earth. Almost.
yep.
Are they in alphabetical? No, they're not alphabetical. There we go. Yep. So this person was, for the most part, able to basically just pass as human
Mhm.
most of the time, which which makes it a bit harder to find in knowing that the only way you have of finding someone is through their like the divine scent that everyone leaves behind.
Mhm.
And St. Petersburg is a very large city.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not like JD, who you just found in his trailer in the middle of upstate New York with no one around.
So, I guess from what we know, that it appears that part of the disconnecting everything appears to have some link to the different underworld areas, but we don't have anything specific other than that. That's what I have the Mad Professor and Nama both researching on from different approaches. So I guess the thing is, is our goal to leave the net as it is, or is our goal to fix it completely?
Well, I mean, I think we should figure out what the consequences of doing that. I mean, that's something that we can't make a decision, and if it's the wrong decision, it's like, oops, that sort of thing. Like we can't take that back. So
Yeah, at the same time, if we just leave it as is, what's the under over on it breaking further? And then if we do need to fix it, it'll take that much more effort and that much more souls that we have to
Good point.
collect.
Yeah, I'd be interested in learning a little bit more about the fallout if we can. Morning is impulsive.
Impulsive in which direction?
Whatever will free her mom. And I do. This is so difficult. Uh
But you realize though that all the gods are not benevolent like your ma. Yeah.
yeah.
And if you work to free her, you're one person that you're trying to work for, then that frees all the other ones too, the bad guys.
Yeah. Again, mourning is impulsive, and that is her tendency. But I think she has learned a little bit more about why and how to care for people in her time here, and that is where the sense of conflict is coming from in my own head. Ask her 2 months ago, and it would have been a very clear answer, and now it is more convoluted. Hi, baby.
Right, well, who would give us an unbiased answer about the pros and cons?
Good question.
Truthfully honest, I don't know if there would be one. I'm racking my brain at the moment because basically everyone's got it's got something in the fire on this one.
Winnie says, "No, I do not know of any. I don't know of any deity. Well, let's just say it's never simple with any one of us. And I know now after spending so much time basically as a mortal that yeah, even I was kind of a lot to deal with back then. You would need to find I guess you would need to find more than one person, that's for sure. Speak to both sides if that's possible, but the thing is both, if they do want to meet with you, I don't know who trusted.
Exactly.
I think that's up
We
to
can
us.
meet.
to
We can
decipher
meet with
that.
one side only to have them attack us for not joining them right up.
What are your feelings on the god Nat, Winnie?
It's complicated. So you see, on the one end, if I can go back, then it means I can see my family. That also means I'm going to die again. It's not going peaceful. And the cycle is going to start all over again. It's like this. And don't take just my word for it. Because not all of us, well, it's the consequences of a lot of things. It's a compounding of our existence, right? But imagine those little hamster balls. When you're a god, you can go anywhere you want, you can do everything you want. But you shouldn't get out of that little ball. Because doing so, it's going to cause chaos. You are forced to go where the ball can go. I guess a hamster wheel would have made more sense, maybe. But that's besides the point. The point is, as much as we as we've deluded ourselves. Humans have a lot more free will than we do. And I didn't know that until recently. And it's there's both good and bad, right? I guess what I mean to say is I can do what I want. I know I'm not going to die. Well, I guess I don't. I've never tried with this body, and I don't think I want to. But say I am just like immortal, and I can die. Then I get to live my life the way I want it. I get to experience everything I want. And then I just go back to the same cycle. When I'm a god, I have to be mindful of everything that I do. Sorry, I should say, when I'm connected to the overworld, I cannot do anything I do. I can't stay here. I mean, even you four, the last months, things went from business as usual in the world to there was a flood in Europe.
Yeah, that wasn't us.
Strange sightings in Ireland. The thing in India. The tremors in Japan. I mean, even if it's not you, things are happening because there's still a spark of divinity in the world. And there used to be a time where it was, I guess, the damages could be contained. See, now I'm almost advocating for what Yoshi and the others wanted. It was
Yes,
simpler
but-
back then, I guess.
Is the fact that the net is so damaged part of the reasons why the divine activity is harder to control?
Yeah, and building on that, are you saying that if we fix the net, we'll no longer have access to our divine abilities?
I can't know for sure. But if you block out, if in its current state, it prevented even gods from piercing through. It made me stay here, but I don't have any powers anymore. Otherwise, I would have fixed all of this, I guess. There's a lot of things I would have done differently. For one, I would snap of a finger be anywhere I want. It sure beats walking everywhere. But it's just I don't know. There's so many things so many variables that and the worst part is everything I'm saying, I don't even know if I'm saying them because I want to, because that's what I think, or because of some weird pull of fate. So
I'm
far,
getting-
oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So far, I've believed that everything I've done was of my own volition. I didn't know what was going on, what was happening. if we were really cut off from everything, then I could be assured that this will was my own. But it's not so sure anymore. I mean, there's still... I say I don't have any powers, but there are still senses that I have. I mean, I could feel that you were special. She looks at Morning. I can sort of feel the pull of destiny on you. But is it because there's a mail broken in the net? That some of me is seeping through? Some of the things I used to embody? I don't know.
So you're saying that, like any of the, for lack of a better way of saying it, mere mortals on the planet, you feel like you're nothing more now than just another piece on the giant chessboard.
So you cut off just after mortal and piece on the chessboard.
So in other words, you feel like just like, for lack of a better way of saying it, the mere mortals of this world, that you're nothing more than a chess piece on the giant board of life then.
In a way, Finbar, but I'm a pawn who knows they're a pawn. Like, humans don't know about us. Or, that's not true. They used to. And a lot of them still remember that we've existed. Or at least they'll say, you know, that people used to believe in us in one way or another, one form of another. That people did things for us to placate our wrath, curry favor. And the thing is well, we never asked this. Well, I shouldn't say we, but let's say for my part, I have never asked anyone to do anything. And when they would, doesn't necessarily mean that I would notice in time. I mean, I would always know. But I had a lot to do, and a lot of people. Even just on this continent, there was a lot of people. For a long time, anyway, and now there's just so many more. But the point is, the humans who thought they were pawns might not have been as controlled as they thought they were. It's I don't think there's there's the invisible hand of fate just doing whatever it is that it wants. But fate doesn't apply to those who don't have a divine spark. So if anything, I don't feel like a pawn up until recently, I didn't feel like it. Now I might be a self-aware pawn on a chessboard. She pours herself some more tea. Goes. It's getting a little late for all that philosophical talk, but yeah, I guess that's where we're at.
Well, I suppose one thing we should probably do is kind of hard to go after something or investigate something if we don't know what the origin or source is. Maybe we need to find out what's behind this net completely in the first place, and maybe that might answer a question or two.
Who put up the god net?
The only people that I know who would know are on the other side of that net. I mean, we can wait until someone goes through again. That can take years, decades.
It could. Or we could find somebody who already knows how to come through.
Got any ideas?
Got a small one.
Hmm.
Not sure we'll like it though.
I also can't help but ask who we're protecting at the end of the day. Some sort of divine order? Logic or humanity? I don't know that that's like a question that we should answer right now, just maybe one that we should keep in mind.
I think, I think it bears thinking about. I mean, I don't want to see any of them. She looks like out the window of her dining room. I don't want to see any of them come to harm.
I guess this will be probably striking some sort of balance between helping protecting both, in a sense.
There may not be a way to do that.
True. I guess we'll have to decide if we have to pick one or the other. Who do we pick?
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of convincing, a lot of direction to not pick the latter, honestly.
I mean, face it. We might have to choose whether it's protecting them at the cost of even ourselves. Because face it,
We're
we're
part
just
of the
a hop.
first one.
We're just a hop, skip, and a jump from being at the same level that they are on the other side of the net.
And
Now,
so
now hold on. No, nobody said anything about sacrificing ourselves for this.
it may,
Well,
right?
I'm not.
How was
I'm
that?
not
When
either.
was
But
that put on the table?
it's something
But-
we have to think about. I mean,
It
that
might
it-
be a side effect. I don't think it's the intention. It's just
it's not
the
the
if we
intention.
enforce divine order, then there's a place for us. If we help humanity, there may not be.
Well, it sounds like if we help humanity by closing the net, then we're just going to become humanity. That's what it sounds like. Unless I'm misunderstanding, Winnie.
Or
It sounded
will
like
we?
you said that you lost the connection to your powers once you were trapped inside the net, or was it just that you lost the drive to access them because you were no longer connected to the strings of fate?
Is that not a sacrifice to you?
Well, I don't really want to sacrifice my powers. I mean, I just got them, right? Think of all the great things that we could do for humanity with access to these powers that we have, especially if we get even more powerful. Imagine if we had access to the things that our parents could do, but use them benevolently to help humanity. So what if there's every so often a bad god slips the net and comes inside and starts to wreak havoc? If we have the power to stop them, isn't it better to keep that power than to cut it off completely? Leave humanity stranded, praying to gods that can't hear them and can't intervene to help?
That has been the conundrum since the beginning of mankind.
I would lose a lot that I love. If I lost my powers. But beyond that, most of what I love is divine. I guess I like my Twitch followers, but that's parasocial at best, and just like looks over at D, kind of like nodding for approval, using her understanding of parasocial relationships.
I think she gives you a kind of concerned look, I think. But it's not about the Twitch followers. It's the line of thinking, I think, is what she's giving the look about. And I think that look came before you asked about the Twitch followers.
Mm-hmm.
And me, I've even got more things to take in consideration. I mean, it's not just myself I'm looking after at this point. I'm kind of like our parents right now. I've got progeny that could be marching in my footsteps as well. Do I make it better for her as a potential goddess or demigoddess? Or do I make things just throw her back into mere mortal before she has a chance to even try to see how she would do in that kind of a role? Which world do I want for her? It's not an easy decision.
My thoughts on this is, if they all go, if catastrophic things happen to them, what good's the power then?
Good point.
Yeah.
God of an
Walk
empty
into
world
sense.
doesn't sound great.
Can I throw a wrench in all this?
There's so many wrenches
That's your
already.
job.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for
Oh
it.
no, I as Winnie.
Oh.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that
Yeah.
quote still stands. That's yeah. It's like
Winnie, I look at this argument this way. This is like when locking yourself in a room with 3 accountants. Ask them a question, you get 5 different answers. So whatever answers you want to throw in, feel free.
There are a lot of gods out there who would like nothing but to have a blank canvas to... God of a barren world is the sum. The one thing that they've been waiting for. So they can just recreate. They'll say in their image, but in reality what they want is people that will never, ever deviate from the plan that they have. Just...
She has a point. Immortality is a long time. Plenty of time to wait for humanity to get it right. Mortal life is cyclical after all. If this one dies off and fails, then there'll be another.
Boom. A new slate to start with. Or perhaps our actions create that clean slate that they've been waiting for.
I think you. Dee's gonna get up. She's gonna like kind of pound the table. If you want to keep talking about how interchangeable everyone is, then you do this without me. She's gonna just slam off.
I didn't mean it that way. Winnie says as you storm off.
I think she's gonna sit in the stairwell. I think.
It's fine. She's made her choice. Clearly, she wants to close the nut.
I just don't know which is the right answer. And what's good for me isn't good for everybody.
Well, I have no interest in sacrificing myself, even if that's on the table, just as a potential possibility. So for me, I want to keep it open. I say leave it.
I'll be right back. And I go over and walk and I sit next to Dee. Look, I know this isn't easy, unlike the others. We have ties, we have friends, we have families that we are close to here and all this, so it's not an easy decision to make.
I mean, it's not just not easy. It's not something I can do.
In the end,
I may have a short temper I may be annoyed by a lot of things here. God, no, there's a lot of bad stuff, but I can't not help them. Everything. I can't. If it means sacrificing all this, everything dies, it's not worth it.
I understand.
I like the power we have. It's good. We can do a lot of good, but it's not worth that.
I just want you to know, I understand. Then I get up and head back to the rest of the table. And now we sit around a table. People with the power of gods or demigods, thinking that we've got the power and the right to decide the fate of the entire world. What a joy.
Who else decides?
I know, that's the only problem. Who is the right person to make this choice? Is it us? Is it someone else? Is it anybody, for that matter? It's not an easy decision to make, and it's not one I'm taking lightly. Trust me, I see the valid in every single argument for, I see the validity in every single argument against. And I know when push comes to shove, I'm gonna have to make a decision. Will it be the right one? I may never know. We may never know. Whatever it is, we have to decide what it's going to be. And have the faith and confidence that whatever we do, it's going to happen. And that we live with the consequences.
What do we do if we're divided? And just kind of looks over at the door where Dee has stormed off.
I guess, as they say, that increases the difficulty of the decision then, doesn't it? We all have our different motives. We all have our different reasons for what we want to do. But even though deep in our hearts we know it's the right decision, we know what we think is the right decision. We know it's the right decision for us. But is it the right decision for all parties involved? And we still do not know. We don't have the information we need yet. And it's hard to make that. We're talking, forget the hyperbole. This is an earth-changing decision we're talking about here. It's not something that we can do half-cocked. We've got to get more information. So I don't have so be totally honest, I know how my heart feels, but my mind hasn't decided yet. And until my heart and mind are in agreement, I say we have to gather what information we can to make sure that we have enough for the heart and the mind to agree. We have a goal in mind, yes, but we have to be. I'm also willing to change that goal if we have to midstream as we cross it.
I
We
think
have to be open to that.
Winnie's clutching her mug, and she goes, I think I have one more wrench that I can throw into it.
Well,
And
the wrench will either help or it'll hurt, or it might do both.
I feel
Offer away.
Well, okay, it might not be a wrench. Acting without knowing is what Professor Morgan, Yoshi, and the others did. And look where that got them. If anything, I don't think tonight and she looks at the time on her phone, at 1:30 in the morning is when any of us or any of you are going to make a decision. I would rather not have to choose because I can't trust that I'm making this decision of my own choice. It's going to have to be all of you.
I say we all need a good night's rest. We've earned it. And then I think we need to start moving, then get together, decide where we want to move forward from here. Because right now we're all tired, we're all grumpy. We've been doing some massive fighting and stuff over many days. We've really not had a good rest. Let's get a good rest tonight.
Hi.
And things often will look better after you get that good rest.
Well, I think that's a good point for us to take a break. And when we come back, we'll check in on our Scion on the next morning.
Lol, Simon said something about this being like a nice and relaxing, chill session, and
wasn't-
all I feel
Really
is stress
chill
and tension.
I'm sorry.
More stress than combat.
All right, we'll be right back, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, we're back. So what we'll do, we'll fast forward the clock to tomorrow. But before we do that, I would like each and every one of you to tell me how do you end the night? Scions. Where do you go? What do you do?
Okay, I think I have pretty good. Dee's going to call an Uber and then spend the night at a hotel. I think she doesn't necessarily want to go home, and I think she's gonna spend the rest of the time like kind of like figuring out a new place to live. I think.
How fancy of
for-
an hotel?
I think it's just like it is. You know, she's feeling like this has not been like even before like having like a little bit of a argument. I think the previous night was not great, so she's gonna go to a pretty nice place. I think just because it's
Okay, yeah, you're heading like downtown.
she was in a bad headspace before the afternoon, like from the morning. So like still, so like she's gonna find someplace nice. Like she spent that whole investigation like in the server room of like Wolf Security.
Mhm.
Just kind of like in in like depressed mode, so she's gonna go someplace nice, I think.
All right. And it's not like you don't have the money anyway.
No.
Well, Finbar probably drives her there and probably gets a room in the same place as well. He's going to find a nice place to hovel up for the night. Maybe go down to the bar, get a Guinness to take up with him to the room, and then finish that off as he slowly goes off to sleep.
Morning pretty much crashes on the couch and just like face down on a couch, you know, just like
Mhm.
on Woody's couch, and just kind of like screams into the pillow for a little bit.
Yeah, I was about to ask, were we not invited to stay at Winnie's?
Can if you want to.
Okay, yeah. I'm not spending money on a hotel.
Morning has been staying here.
So it's the one with
For sure.
the most actual like funds, like concrete funds, not funds that you conjure out of like nothing.
Yeah, but you know, what if I need those later for
Yeah,
something
what
else
if you need those later?
for me?
Millionaire, but still crashes on someone's couch. Still,
I think if Kieran stays, that maybe puts Morning and Winnie in the awkward situation of giving.
Oh, there was only one bed?
Well, there was also a couch, but if Kieran uses the couch, then there is only one bed
Yeah.
remaining.
And the bathroom, by the way, is occupied by a family of small beavers.
That is
So-
true, yes. Yeah.
how?
Oh no, the
The
trope.
beavers can watch me pee, it's fine.
I didn't think about that. Damn.
Simon.
You're in nature. It's like
You put the beavers in the bathroom! What did you...
I didn't
like
think
I don't
about
care what
it.
animals
Who put
are
the
in there,
beavers
it's
in the
like, it's-
bathroom?
I'm sorry, Winnie's place isn't upscale enough to have a hot tub there on the
beaver
back deck
room?
or anything like
You
that.
want upscale, you go get a hotel.
Yeah,
Like the
Winnie
smart
doesn't-
people in
Winnie
our
can't
party.
You just,
generate
no. I
10,000
mean,
bucks.
there's an easy solution to it. You know, you just take the curtains and just like, you know,
Pull the curtains across.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
beavers
tower
so that they
curtain.
they aren't staring at me while I pee.
Do your
Yeah.
business, then pull the curtain back.
But you have to remember those aren't normal beavers. Also, they're like
doesn't
sentient with
matter,
like
you know,
human
it's too bad.
intelligence.
That's fine, whatever.
So, in my worlds, apparently people never go to the bathroom. Because I didn't think about that.
Well, I'm sorry, I've introduced bathroom semantics into your perfect universe.
Yeah,
so
like,
now,
fuck
now
it.
you have to think about it.
Yeah, we're
Just
we're
point
gonna
at the
have
viewers
to
like, get the hell out, go in the other room.
Get out.
every time.
Out now. I could
Amazing.
fireball you.
Go to the kitchen sink for a little bit. I need the bathroom.
Well, I mean, they don't live like solely in the bathtub, but it's the only place that has enough water for them to like swim in when they want to have a swim.
Yeah.
That said, that means
Anyway.
that is morning moving afterwards from couch to bedroom.
Yeah, I think after a brief discussion, they decide that's best. But Morning is incredibly sheepish about it.
Winnie will not like she can sleep on the floor if you want to. It doesn't matter. She can give you her
I
bed.
don't think that's necessary if she's okay with sharing.
She's like, it's a double bed. There's room.
Great. Okay. I'm just gonna go to sleep. Then brush teeth with the beavers first. And then go to sleep.
And yeah, Winnie will also go to sleep. Like, she'll clean up. She comes to bed like after, pretty much, unless any one of you like really stays up. But she just, slides in bed and seems to be very mindful not to make any contact with Morning. It's
Oh,
cutesy
same.
awkward. Yeah.
100% same. Morning says she's going to bed, stays awake for 2 hours with anxiety before finally getting so tired that she passes out.
Yeah, I picture the cartoon thing where the light goes off and you can just see your eyes, like, wide open.
God, it's better than the cut of Morning staring off, and then it's just like a hard cut to Morning still staring off, but like it's morning.
But
It's now
it's the
like the
next
sun.
day.
It's like the sun has risen. It's just like
Hasn't
like,
moved an inch.
Very edge of the bed kind of thing, like as far over as possible. Yeah.
just gotta. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that when he doesn't have an animal, or have like a dog or something, so he would just been pushed. It's like,
Where do you
Fine.
think the beavers
Just a
sleep?
bunch of beavers in the bed.
no, it's like they have to send. They gotta dry off. That's no good.
No
Oh, yeah,
more
no, they don't go
beavers
in, like-
jumping on the bed.
It's like oh, it's.
But yeah, no, you wake up the next day. There's like 3 young beavers taking up all the room in the bed. Kieran, there's like 1 sleeping next to your face on the couch.
There's a filthy joke here, but I won't make it.
Stop it. He's underage. Those are underage beavers. Stop it. And Dee wakes up in probably like a luxurious suite at like the downtown's Ritz.
Mhm.
You've got a king-sized bed. There's like a hot tub in your bathroom suite with like a shower that could fit like 50 people for some reason. Room service left like a tray of not even a tray, like a dolly full of like breakfast stuff
Mhm.
for you. And Finbar, you said it was a motel, right?
No,
No,
he's
I'm in the same place, but I didn't get the big suite. I
Oh,
just
okay,
got
you
a
got
regular
the-
room at the same hotel.
I mean, you wake up to beige walls on a comfortable bed still. Like, it's not
Mhm.
nothing bad, but no one's been bringing you food
No,
while you
and
were
that
asleep.
he did not want to spring for anything like that this time anyway. So he wanted some quiet. He wanted some isolation. He probably gets up pretty early and pulls out his tablet or whatever and starts doing a little bit of research before he heads downstairs for breakfast.
What are you researching?
He's not going to leave all the work to just Nama and to Dr. Morgan. He's doing a little bit of research on his own on some of the different underworlds and reported ways that they may be connected to each other, or he does the search as if they're looking for compare and contrast, but what he's hoping to find is interconnectability between any of them as he does his literary researches.
Can you give me cunning and occult? First roll since our break. So the dice pools are basically a stat and a skill. You have a certain amount of points in each. That becomes a number of d10s that you need to roll. And each one has a threshold. Now, because we are demigods, it's a 7 and above. So any die that comes up a 7 or over becomes a success. And you normally only need 1 or 2 successes. In this case, we got 3. The information is rare. One would say maybe even obfuscate. Every, like, setting aside what, most people's understanding of underworlds are, you'll find a lot of, Disney's Hercules stuff, because pop culture.
Right.
But then also, like, Moana touched a bit about it too. And a few other, like, children's movies and even just movies in general, entertainment. Beyond that, you get into sort of the more academic side of things, where they touch on a few things that as someone who actually went to an underworld, is true or false. There's a lot of connections, right? Not connections, sorry, similarities. Every religion in the world sort of has, especially if we look at like older myths, they all have like certain things, certain themes that are repeated.
Right.
One thing you do find with your 3 successes is that normally, as much as these things are repeated, every underworld is its own thing. But the only thing that seems to link all of the underworlds together is water. Or some type of liquid. The
Whether
word
it's an
river,
ocean or a river or something.
A sea,
sea, lake, some sort of body of water.
That's it, yeah. That seems to be the one, like, consensus across the board is normally you shouldn't mix underworlds. You shouldn't cross the beams. So that the Greek underworld, where Hades is found, the people stuck there should never be able to go to, let's say, the Nordic hell.
Right.
But you were in the garden recently with the other godlings. You saw people from another underworld, make their way there.
Yeah, we saw the boats that brought the people that had brought people over from the Nordic.
Now, with 3 successes, I'll leave you with a question because I can't give you the answer.
Okay.
But it's a question that Finbar basically has with that research is, did they make their way there on the boats because it is now possible because the net is broken? Or is it something that has nothing to do with the net? And it's just that no one usually crosses bodies of water in the underworld.
Is it something that's just not been done and now someone's trying to do it, or is something triggering them to want to do it?
Well, just out of character, out of game, to any one of you players, have you ever heard of a myth of someone from, like, one mythological story going into
No.
like there's no humanity mythological cinematic universe.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been done.
Yeah.
But now that it's happened in the world of our fiction, is it because no one ever thought of it? Or is it because it's supposed to be impossible? That, unfortunately, in this morning research, and you have to think, Finbar, you also have, you research with the powers of the gods, so
Right.
your Google is legendary. This is something that could have taken, like, months of research to a mortal that you just do. You accomplish basically while waiting for your breakfast to get there.
Mm-hmm.
While this is happening in D,
I've just completed someone's PhD dissertation in
yeah, you're
in
like,
20 minutes.
might as well just write a thesis on it, right? While we're at it.
God, I forgot how. College work.
Alright.
That too, but I think you've been expelled, D.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. You know what? I can make $10,000 like appear on nowhere. I don't need it.
Actually, you have the one power that every college student wants.
Yeah.
Or maybe the one power that everyone wants to have.
Oh, I tell you what, I mean, I wouldn't.
God damn.
Scrooge McDuck has you on speed dial.
You can just wreck a country's economy with like a few snaps of your fingers. Or fix a country's economy in a few snaps of your fingers. I think you're muted, Lynn. Or like something came loose. We'll move to someone else. So let's move to the apartment where Morning, Kieran, and Winnie are. Y'all wake up to the small critters.
And immediately get out of bed to go make coffee.
Winnie's taking her time.
That's fine. I need it out of there anyway. I imagine the kitchen is like near enough to the living room that she can just kind of be like, so were you comfy? It's like,
Yeah.
she's just like dumping coffee into it.
I slept great. Hey, can you make me one of those?
Looks down and there's just like already a pile of scoops in the coffee filter.
Yeah, maybe a little less of the actual like coffee grinds and a little more water for mine. But you make yours however you want.
How does Morning take coffee? Like, just straight up.
That is a very good question. So I think in her exploration of the tastes of the human world, has tried everything and settled into coffee with cream as her general favorite. But will drink anything and considers something like a latte a treat. In this case, literally just using the coffee maker, making some strong coffee, and then just putting a little bit of milk in it.
So you did not fall into the coffee snub rabbit hole on the internet.
Now you gotta grind. You gotta grind your own beans. You gotta get them in there. You gotta steep.
I think she managed to avoid that side of the internet, and really just finds it miraculous for what it is, which is caffeine, mostly. So.
Oh yeah, there's a talk about that offline because I don't think terms of services of Twitch are gonna. I learned some interesting thing about tobacco use before the arrival of settlers and colonizers, and it's quite different than we thought, and it's wow. If you wanted to wake up, but also, anyway, that's it. You prep the coffee machine, and it's like a spell. The moment it starts to smell, Winnie comes out of her bedroom. I trust everyone slept well enough. Was everything alright? Comfy? Yeah?
Yeah. Coffee?
Oh, yes, please.
Great. I'm gonna go to the bathroom and starts the coffee machine and then like leaves.
Erin, is morning alright?
Oh yeah, she's always like that.
Okay.
Kieran, the most helpful party member to
Mhm.
have here right now. Literally,
Winnie in
just
her
like,
mind going like, maybe I should ask someone else than a guy about this.
Literally anyone else. Yeah.
It's like literally anyone else in this group would be better to ask about this particular subject than Kieran.
Go ahead, ask relation advice to Kieran. Go ahead.
This- the Ask Kieran column in the paper. So while this is getting prepped up, D,
Mm-hmm.
you are also waking up that morning. Was there anything on your to-do list before? Well, actually, none of you. I keep forgetting, but no one said anything about like meeting back up the next day. So
No,
I'm
I mean,
going to assume.
anything that D like, I think that D wanted like as far as like planning, like Michelle's taken care of. So like, D's just gonna sit in the bed for a while, I think, and eat whatever food is in there because it's one of those like, it's food bedtime. So it's just, you know what?
They've got really good cinnamon rolls that
That's fine.
mortals might call divine. You know better. But they're very good. So back to the apartment then.
Yeah, productive D time is over now. It's just I'm eating a cinnamon roll in bed time.
As we all deserve. Back at Winnie while morning is still away. So Kieran, you said last night you might have an idea.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I'll need to find a payphone in order to, access said idea. But as far as I know, I think my dad has information about going back and forth within the confines of the net, or seems to know more than he lets on. So if anybody might know something, I mean,
Who's your father?
God
again?
knows if he'll actually tell us, but the least we can do is ask.
Oh, yeah, well, we do so love being cryptic when we can. That's not all true of all of us. Most of us are.
No, but it's true, my dad. So,
Now, often enough, you think you say something very clearly, and I don't know, people they interpret it the wrong way.
Is that a problem you had a lot when you were a god being worshipped?
Kind of. It's there wasn't really worship per se here. There wasn't really a. I guess the word god or divinity wasn't something that existed. We were analogous to. It's just sometimes your children do something, and you're not mad, you're disappointed, and they think you're mad, and then they go about their lives just resenting you. Now imagine if thousands of people were to do that because they misunderstood something you said.
So your experience as an immortal with powers has been pretty negative then.
I mean, there's been a lot of positive. I am boiling down centuries in this conversation.
But it seems to be overwhelmingly negative. Which objectively would color your view about whether or not we should close the god net, I think.
Well, see it this way, and she's gonna start pouring the coffee. Because let's say the coffee machine is done. If your destiny was to die repeatedly, wouldn't that color your opinion of things?
Well, sure, you got dealt a shit fate. But the fact of the matter is that that's not my destiny.
But how do you know that?
Well, just judging from what I know of my da and what I know of Norse mythology, not a lot, admittedly, but I feel like my fate is more to rule than to die over and over.
Isn't Norse mythology the one that fatalist that keeps saying that everyone's going to die?
Ragnarok, you're talking about. The end of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not really my bag. My bag is more adaptation and, finding a way to thrive in whatever environment happens to be the one that you end up in. And in this one, I feel like I've just started to thrive. Not really keen to sacrifice myself or the environment in which I have begun to thrive. You see what I'm saying?
You're like a survivor.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
But you also want something to be there for you once you've survived.
Sure, but like you said, if you wipe this slate clean, if I have all the power that comes with fully embracing the godlyhood outside the net, then I could just wait for something else to come along, right?
And you can. There's just so many tales and so many memories, maybe? I don't know. That keep coming back as we talk that I don't want to influence anyone. I think I've done enough damage as it is. So here's your coffee. This can't possibly do any damage. So she hands you. Morning. How long do you spend hiding?
She distracts herself by checking all of her social sites and everything for a little while first. I think here's the coffee machine beep, and at that point splashes some water on her face, checks a few more tweets, and then takes a deep breath and heads back out into the fray.
Your socials, by the way, with what was shown, the little bit that was shown of the fight last night, the epic part of you, a lot of people are asking how you did that. It looks sick AF, some people say.
Oh, that's easy. I just make a post about Q&A and do like a screenshot of one of the questions and say it's just my divine powers that allow me to do that.
Just make it for that. Can't possibly come back
Oh,
to
that's
bite you.
easy.
That's easy. I'm a goddess.
On my way to becoming a warrior goddess. Isn't that why you're all following along?
There's like a lot of people that reply stuff like yes or variations of yas and goddess, and others that are like, is this for real? Like, it's a minority, and you don't think that they're doubting you. It's hard to convey emotion through text, but in a way, through your almost like semi-divine connection with the world, it's more like you're making people starting to doubt the reality that they know. And you know it's working. You can feel it. It had already started with your fans who, are acting more like worshippers. And if you want to, you can regain 1 spent point of legend.
I think I do. I think I do want that. Thank you.
Well, that's convenient. Just stream and you get your points back.
Oh, you think it's just that?
No, I think I did more than just tweet.
Oh,
maybe. I mean, surface level, it was just tweeting, right? But
if you remember,
the consequences
it started happening with as you are fate binding all of those people into worshippers.
No.
Yeah, because these are the ones who've got the shrines in the closets kind of thing. Yeah. I know. I hear you. And Renee is against parasocial relationships. Just
but
expressing that
Morning
again.
needs the god power.
But Morning is ignorant and a demigoddess. So
it changes things a bit. But that said, you can also see your inbox blowing up with DMs.
Don't try this at home, kids.
It's a bunch. In fact, they're all like requests or questions. There's like 500 of them already. It's, if you can do this, can you also help my grandma? Or please, there's someone at school that bullies me. Can you come and slap them around a bit? Can I take a ride on your horse? Those are like the least demanding. Again, because of your bond with them. You don't think these people wrote those DMs, so much so that they thought about it. And this is the way fate has of letting you know that you have requests.
Cool.
Seems like a nightmare.
Oh, and it just keeps the whole time that you're in the bathroom, it just keeps, the numbers just keep going up.
I think that's how I distract myself, is like I hear the coffee machine, I give myself like 3 more questions to respond to. Some of the more like harmless ones, like ones that are about midnight or about my abilities. And then I pocket that phone on silent and leave the room.
I'm gonna ask you for a roll.
Yeah, what roll?
I'm going to ask you for manipulation and subterfuge.
Oh my god.
It's not that you're lying to them.
What are your dice pools for that?
Oof. A 2 out of 3, that's good. 2 successes is enough. That
So I had 3 dice.
for the moment right now, you don't feel any, or I should say, I, as the Fate, cannot force Morning to feel guilt for ignoring those requests. Anything that Morning feels at the moment is her own. It's however you want her to feel about this.
Yeah, so I think part of it is like there might have been like a small pang of guilt, but mostly she did not have time to read all of them, and is just kind of like, okay, we can deal with this later. She's reasonably detached from this following of people still, so kind of ambivalent past the initial like, ooh, I can't just like heal someone, death is more my thing, you know, that like initial cross.
Oh yeah, because people don't know that anyway. None of them know exactly what you can do, save that they know you can do cool things.
I think that may have been one of the AMA questions, like, that she did kind of respond to, is like, this is my purview, these are the, like, abilities, and these are some of my abilities, and I'll, like, include a picture of me with raven's wings on the news, from the other night, and stuff like that.
There will be so many tattoos of ravens in the next few weeks for some reason.
I have one of those. Renee, not Morning, but yeah.
Okay.
Morning should get one. That'd be great.
She probably can, even magically.
Morning would be so punk with a tattoo.
And as you come out of the bathroom, Winnie's going to ask, do you... I don't recall seeing any payphones nearby. Have you seen any?
Payphones?
Does she know about payphones?
No.
Because I don't think Niantic has any payphones left. She turns also
What
to
are
Kieran.
payphones?
That's
Don't you
phone to
pay for these phones? And like
Like-
pulls out her cell phone.
Oh, yeah, no, it's yeah. No, it's an older form of. Back when these didn't exist, you had to go to like a stationary phone if you wanted to call someone. Like they were on like street corners.
Oh.
Outdated, impractical, and impossible to find nowadays, basically.
Yeah, you'd have to find a place that still has any.
Oh. Have you checked Google? Hannah's face.
I mean, no, I haven't. I have not Googled payphones near me. But I
try
can.
it. I'd say try it.
Okay.
That's, you get what you pay for, and you pay to know where everything is at all times.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google payphones.
And also cat videos.
Near me. I'm not gonna Google cat videos. I'm Googling payphones near me.
Okay, we'll start with the payphones and then Google cat videos later.
I think New York is the closest.
New York
or Boston. And there's
But it worked, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a limited amount of them left.
Of course there is.
As in you can find like the So, for instance, in
You know what?
East River
Can I
Park.
star 69 my dad? 'Cause he called me on my cell phone earlier when we were in the bar.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Can I
But-
star 69 him? No.
That if
Can't
you
do
do,
that.
when you do, it just says that this number has been is out of service. It seems that you need to use the coin.
Sure.
But yeah, there's a few in like cities that are, you know, within easy teleportation distance because. But Niantic has none left. Well,
All right.
I'll let you to it, I guess. I gotta run do some groceries, especially if the two of you are going to stay over. No, I don't mind it, by the way. It's just well, while you were gone, I've been mostly, you know, living by myself. So
I also use most of your coffee on this pot. Sorry.
I noticed there's like a slight twitch in her eye.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to go to bed very, very late tonight. Other than that, it's fine.
Morning's just like beet red, just like absolutely.
She's going to walk by you, grab keys in a bowl by the door in the living room, and unlatch one of them and hand it to Morning.
Oh. Oh. Oh?
Well, if you're staying longer, you know, this is the mundane human way of doing it.
Okay. Thank you.
She's gonna grab a few, like, bags by the door and says, so just lock behind you. I'll be back in a few hours.
I think as soon as she leaves, Morning locks the door and then takes her cup of coffee and goes and sits down nearish Kieran, like maybe on the coffee table or something, and is just like,
So how'd you sleep last night?
oh, so bad. You just left me there with her.
I thought you guys were friends. What happened?
No, we are friends. I just... Yeah,
Mhm.
Stop looking at me like that.
Like what?
Like you look at people.
Does Kieran have any idea what the hell he's wandered into?
Absolutely
or is this
not.
just like, what the
Oh, this wasn't what I wanted to talk about anyway.
What did you want to talk about?
What if we're the only ones who want to leave the net as is?
I get the feeling that we are. Yeah.
What are we gonna do if they hate us?
Well, that depends. Are they going to hate us with the net closed? Or are they going to hate us with the net open? Because I'm okay with them hating us with the net open.
I don't know if I am. But I know that's what I want. And I don't know if I want it for me or for everyone, or if I think that I can just solve whatever problems we face with my sword. But I just think about the way that Dee looked at me and I feel really bad.
Well, Dee does have a lot to lose if anything is to happen to humanity. She's got friends and family here.
And I have the same if I lose access to the divine.
Mm-hmm. The way I see it, the difference is Dee can use the powers that she has by having access to the divine to protect the people that she cares about. It doesn't work the other way around. If we lose access to the divine, we lose access to everything that the divine entails. Now, don't you think that's a little less fair on our part?
I'm kind of surprised that talking to you about this actually made me feel better, but it does a little bit.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Thanks, Kieran. I guess we should probably text them about the payphone.
Oh, yeah, sure. You text them. I don't think they want to hear from me.
I don't know if they want to hear from me either, but okay. And I'll shoot a group text to the group channel that we absolutely have going, and if we don't, then I add one with Kieran and everything.
I'm like 99% sure we have a group text because I feel like we've used it before. Yeah.
We've had
I'm
to,
pretty sure
even if
we
it
have.
was
We had to
just
have.
like,
I don't think Dee would function with like having to like message each person individually. I don't think she would stand for that.
even if it was just like at the lodge. I do think JD is in there also. And even if it's just like at the lodge and it was like a hey, burgers are ready kind of thing.
Yeah,
yeah, we had a group chat.
That's a good. Where is he? What
Where
is he
is who?
doing?
He was not sleeping
He was
here,
not
I'll tell
invited
you
to
that.
the apartment. Where is he? Like, where is he? Where did he
We
go?
left him at like Walmart
Well, he
or
was
something.
he
He's
was
still
at the
waiting for us to come
apartment
back.
before. Like we watched a movie with him before.
You
But I'm gonna
Yeah.
assume
And I
that he
think
also
he-
got a hotel.
No one keeps
No, he
track.
wasn't.
So
at
we
the-
home
he was-
alone him.
He
Everybody's
wasn't at the fight, and he wasn't at the little dive bar we went to afterwards.
No, he slept
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah, he slept
He
through that.
slept,
You know what?
He took a nap and
I
he
feel-
slept through that at Winnie's apartment.
I feel bad for JD because we're all talking about how do we find these demigods, and we just like ignored like JD. Like, where did he go? We like lost him like a
Maybe that's why there was only one bed, is because there was a guest bedroom at Winnie's apartment and
Oh,
JD was in it.
just like.
When-
I just like he's waiting. Something like I thought they were gonna meet me here. From,
when
like,
you call the group text, message the group text, you hear a phone vibrate in like the entryway closet of Winnie's apartment.
I'll
Well,
go check, I guess.
In amidst, her boots, shoes, and coats that she has, which she doesn't own a lot, by the way. Winnie is very Spartan in her living arrangement. But at the bottom of the closet that she grabbed the bags out of earlier, by the way, there's a cat curled up, sleeping. And there is a phone next to it with your messages on it. You recognize it as JD's phone.
I like just open the door a little bit wider so Kieran can see, and I'm like, did JD turn into a cat? Can
Oh,
JD turn
okay.
into a cat?
I don't know.
And the cat looks up and makes a meow that sounds more like a ugh. And as it stretches, yeah, the limbs begin to grow and change very quickly. It's like it's like someone was rapidly finishing a Rubik cube. It's just like click 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 click. And where there was a cat a moment ago, there is now a bedraggled JD.
You were sleeping in the closet as a cat?
Oh, JD.
Well,
You can turn into a cat.
yes, I can turn into animals.
What? How long have you
I
been able
never-
to do that?
I don't know, 20 some odd years.
We know so little about JD. We've had him for like 2 years. We know so little about him.
But you thought I lived in the middle of the woods as what, like some sort of a Hicks?
Yes!
Yeah.
What?
We've never seen you do this before. We've lived with you for months now.
We never.
Yes,
God,
but
we
I've
never
had a
have.
bed for months. Now you, and he looks at Kieran, like points, you took my bed.
It was my bed. What are you talking about?
You weren't here last night.
Well, no, when I came
And-
back home, I saw that. Well, came back home.
No,
Came
no,
back
I
here.
mean Kieran wasn't here last night when JD had the couch. I get it.
You can't lay claim to somebody else's property, man. What's wrong with you?
Winnie was nice enough to host me, and then y'all barged in, and well, I mean, I can understand for her. He points to Morning.
What?
But- Well, I mean, you coming here whenever you want, like, aren't you two? I'm gonna see myself out. He takes his phone and just leaves the apartment, slams the door.
I texted you.
He says, "I
Oh,
know.
he's
I'll see
gone.
you later."
Okay.
I think we're gonna end on that.
You know what?
Mortified
If D was
Actually-
there, he would have like dragged him bodily out of that room the second. Like, no, you're messing stuff. Get the hell out. This is
Before
why we don't invite
end,
you.
before we end the session, I want to do a quick flashback. Because I had that in my notes, and I wanted to finish on that. You remember when? You remember that was like 20 minutes ago, but so at one point after Winnie left, Morning took her coffee, sat down on the coffee table,
Mm-hmm.
and sighed. When Winnie left the apartment and the door closed behind her and locked,
Mm-hmm.
she also leaned back against the door and sighed. Make that what you will. Thank you for coming, everyone. Bye bye.
Ah.
So that was our comeback episode.
Ended up being very consequential for Morning.
A lot of
On
existential dread.
Yeah.
panic.
And a lot of
multiple fronts.
exposition and a lot of character building. It was a good episode.
I felt like the first half I just did a lot of thinking because of what Simon was presenting to us, but like, golly gee, what a choice, what a thing to have on our plates. Let's see what happens.
It is maybe the biggest choice or things challenge you faced in your divine existence. But that said, please, players, shout out where you are, where we can find you until our next game next Saturday. So let's do same order as we did the intros. We'll start with D.
All right. Let me just double. There we go. Wait.
We can hear you if that's what you're.
Okay, good.
looking
I was
for.
like, it was
Yeah.
like my one of my windows is covering my where the microphone is. I couldn't tell if I was. All right, hey everyone, I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art, pretty much everywhere on pretty much every social thing out there where you can find my art and what I'm doing throughout the weekend. Next time you'll see me is on Wednesday on Turn Key for our third session of Magical Kitty Save the Day, where we get to play a magical indoor house cat who is discovering how scary the outside world is. And that's it for me.
Nice. I need to make my cats play this so that they understand how dangerous the outside world is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you for coming, Lynn. Finbar.
All right, I'm Hawkeye, or Kentucky Hawkeye. You can catch me on my Twitch channel, Monday nights is Family Night at the Emporium, as my daughter Bonnie and I are currently working our way through Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, or as we prefer to call it, The Further Adventures of Mouse Droid. We've completed the game, and now we're 100%ing out all the planets and all that, working our way alphabetically down through them all. We're still on Canto Bight. We hope to finish that off and then move on to whatever planet is next. Tuesday night is going to be a slight change in my schedule. I'm succumbing to the hype. Normally that's my Skyrim night, but I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to delve into the deep dive that 99 and 44 100% of streamers are doing right now, and I'm going to do some Baldur's Gate 3. I'm going to create my favorite of the D&D characters that I've created over the years and all that. Going to try to recreate him there and then play through that. And then Wednesday nights is Grappler's Keep, my WWE 2K23 universe, where a number of characters from all of your favorite TTRPG genres compete in a ring that we lovingly call the Dice Tray. We've had our preliminary tournaments. We've crowned our tag team champions, Paws and Claws for the ladies and the Paladins for the men. We have our top 2 candidates for the men's championship, and this coming week will be the 6-person ladder matches where we will crown the men and women's bearers of the Hunter's Mark. We have 30 ladies and 30 guys. They are all random. They are all freshly created characters representing all sorts of different tabletop RPG genres, and we are working our way towards our next pay-per-view. Then otherwise, you can catch me here on Saturdays as Finbar works his way through the existential debates that we seem to be inevitably heading towards.
Well, thank you so much for coming. And what was the order again? Kieran.
That's me. I'm Kieran. And you can find me next here again next Saturday as Kieran. I'm Hanimation Art on Twitter, Hanimation Studios, everywhere else. And I cannot wait for all the fun, exciting, good feelings that are inevitably going to come with the conversations that come around next session. Oh boy.
Awesome. And last but not least, Morning.
Hi, my name is Renee Rhodes. I use she, her pronouns, and I've played Morning today, who also does. And yeah, this was a definitely existential crisis kind of episode. I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. And I really don't know how it's gonna go. I didn't even know really what Morning's feelings on it were until I was like suddenly faced with that epic question. So I'm excited to see. I'm excited to be entering the last arc with this group because we've told an amazing story so far, and I'm really grateful to have been a part of it. So check everyone else out. I'm on Twitter at RayDNR and a few other places too, as I try to ramp up presence on other hell sites. Also, the thing that I've been talking about for several months now and like teasing and getting to like kind of be like, one of these days I'll have something to tell you is here. So I am auditioning for the role of the host of the One Shot podcast over on the One Shot Network, and they've narrowed it down to 5 candidates and are releasing sessions for each of those candidates as auditions to get some audience and listener feedback on how they liked it. My first episode came out this Monday, and the following episodes will be coming out for the next 3 weeks on Mondays. And that game features Animon's Story by Zach Barrow, an awesome cast of performers. And I'm so excited that people can listen and excited that people can listen and share what they think. So if you like it, be sure to let One Shot Network know when that survey is available, and we'll see how that pans out.
Well, thank you for coming. Thank you, all of you, actually, for taking some time off your Saturdays to come play in this game where I psychologically torture all of you with existential crises, which is probably going to be the theme of our last arc here. Thank you so much to all of you who have come in chat. Thank you for the subs. Thank you for the follows, the talks, all of this. We'll be back next Saturday for some more Gen Con. Jesus, for some more Scion. Oof, brain. I need a third coffee, apparently. Yes, for some more Scion. And then on Monday, we're going to, maybe not this Monday, I need to check, but we are in our interludes between seasons for Vampire the Masquerade Montreal by Night. We are, I'm looking into finally introducing the character of Fredo, which has been teased a lot by the players, but who's supposed to come in and fix that Haunted Mansion issue. So we're going to have that. We're going to have our player interludes as well. And then we're going to pick back up in September for the 4th season proper. Then on Thursday, I should be back with Roads to Baldur's Gate. I'm also hesitating about either finishing BG1 with the Murder Sisters, or if I just switch it to Baldur's Gate 3. I'll see if I succumb to peer pressure or not, because I've been playing on my own. But do I also stream another playthrough? And then for those of you who might have heard, on Wednesdays and Fridays, we release episodes of the Quip and Quill podcast that I'm on with my friend Devin Rue. The first 2 episodes are out already. The second one came out yesterday, which is, oddly enough, all about me. I don't enjoy talking about me that much, but that's what it is. And so we have, for our patrons, episodes and bonus content comes out on Wednesdays. If you go back and rewatch the VOD of our last Vampire the Masquerade session, you can, on YouTube, you can hear it during break. I've posted basically the bonus content from episode 1, and then everything goes live on all the places where you can get your podcasts on Fridays. We have tons of cool interviews coming up with a lot of very fun people from the TTRPG and gaming and hobby industry in general. I'm not going to divulge the list yet, but wow, it's really cool. So they're all a lot cooler than me anyway. So that's it. That's where you can find me. Thank you again, everyone, for coming, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.